wish you all um, a very successful 2024 in all areas of your lives, professionally, in family, spiritually, and so on and so forth. This is a meeting all hosted by the Full Gospel Business Plan Fellowship International. It's a fellowship very powerful. So you are indeed in the right platform this morning. Let us start our meeting with word of prayer, so we can invite the presence of God in the meeting. Amen. Father, we honor you, we worship you, we give you glory and honor. Lord, we commit this meeting before you, oh Lord. We ask that your very own presence, your very own beautiful and amazing presence be with us this morning. Guide us and help us to be transformed. You say that we are not to be conformed with the things of this world, but instead we are to renew our mind by reading your word day and night and meditating upon. Lord, we invite you, we ask that you open our minds, open our eyes, let us see, let us hear the good things that your servant is about to share. Lord, I pray that those that are yet to come in, they will come in fast so they don't miss out much. Unveil your grace this morning. Unveil your grace this morning. Every way, guide us and lead us powerfully and mightily. Amen. So tell your neighbor, tell whatever is up with you, you are welcome to the meeting. I think we can have you can unmute because I want to hear you saying that. Say to your family relatives that are by sight, you're very welcome to the meeting.
Welcome.
You're very welcome to the meeting.
Today's meeting gonna be amazing because we are in the first 27 days of 2024, and I think there is still space for making new resolution, to make new plans and new strategies. And our very own friend, Mr. BUSANI NGWENYA, gonna come shortly, and he's an amazing speaker. He's so profound, and is here to speak about renewing our lives and our business. He hasn't shared much with me about this, but I feel that he will unlock new avenues and areas that maybe we have forgot about them, or we are missing our attention on those. So I think an amazing opportunity to reshape the way we see life and the way we see our business. So I think we are privileged and to have this opportunity freely. And if I was you, I would switch off my devices. I would switch off all things so I can focus and be full concentrated with what Mr. Busani will share. Mr. Busani is a very diverse and rich person. He's in many areas, leading and doing great things in the marketplace, and also as investor. He has more than 20 years of experience in insurance sector. He has been since then leader in the market, because since those days he occupies executive leadership positions. So he's not starting. He's on top of the chain. He's also an investor in real estate. He's a speaker and trainer in many and numerous financial services, and he's a speaker in many conferences. So we are speaking with we're going to have a professional in our midst. He's also John Marshall certificated trainer, speaker, and coach. And he has an amazing and powerful passion in coaching, and he has done so. He has coached thousands of leaders across Africa under his leadership center, Mukokwele. Is right now managing one of the leading insurance company in Mozambique. Mr. Busani is a practitioner Christian, husband of one wife and a father. So help me welcoming this giant in the marketplace that will be with us for the next 2 hours. Mr. Busani, thank you for accepting our invitation. Thank you for availing yourself to speak to us, to open new dimensions and new horizons in the year to come, in 2024 and the years to come. Please come in and the floor is yours. We are eager and we cannot wait any longer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ismail. It has been an honor and a privilege for me to be given this platform to share some bit of insights with you. So welcome. I hope you're having a good morning. The morning is still young. And just to check, how are you? How are you this morning? Are you okay? The chat is open, so please feel free to chat, share with me where you are. If you have got any questions, comments as we go through, please feel free to share and we'll be able to respond. I also hope that you have got your pen and paper and your device, as Ismail says, is on mute or silent or upside down, but it's certainly not distracting you. And you are basically giving all your attention to your screen and reflecting on the things that you are actually picking up from there. So that's what we want to do this morning over the next 2 hours or so. So we are being hosted by Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship International, the Mozambican chapter. And what we are going to be talking about is how to renew your life and your business, how to renew your life and your business. And we want to do this in a very practical way, So as we are going through this, I'll be sharing with you practical insights from myself, from other leaders, and basically giving you more insights which you can pick. So you should be able to get some nuggets which you can pick, which you can then apply in your life. That's the intention of this session. As we start, I normally like to start my sessions by asking a very big and pertinent question on why do people fail to renew their lives? Why do people fail to renew their lives? If we find ourselves in a space where we are talking about renewal, it means there's something which we can do better, or there's something which has failed, or there's something which has expired, or that first love is gone. So when we're talking about renewal, we're really saying there are certain things that could have happened which cause us to go into a state of renewal. Some deterioration, some depreciation, some death, and we really want to renew in those areas. I have a couple of reasons why I think people fail to renew their lives, or why people end up with issues in their lives, with stagnation in their lives. And I'll share a couple of them, and you can have your views, whether you agree or you disagree, or you want to add some more. Always to get new additions, new insights from you. So in my view, a couple of things. One is not having God at the center of people's lives. Two is not having a well-defined purpose or self-strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis. So when we don't have God at the center of our lives, there are so many things that we get exposed to. Okay, simply because of the lack of having that relationship. So there's an anchoring role that being Christians help us have. So when you have got that anchor, it helps you navigate some of the storms in life just from that perspective. And then it's also about that certainty about what is my purpose, what am I good at, what do I really struggle with. At times it's about ambition to exceed where you are, ambition to do better, ambition to renew, or really, if you're like, enough, I don't really want to continue to be a person of mediocrity. Can I be better? That's what it says. It could also be a lack of self-discipline or persistence. In other words, we know what we need to do, but we don't get around to it. We're not disciplined enough to do it. We are not persistent enough to do what we know we need to do. At times, this instant gratification, I want it and I want it now. And we see the instant gratification in terms of people's behavior. So, for example, someone is not willing to save, they'll rather get a loan for it. Someone is not willing to wait, they'll rather get it and they want it now. So that ends up with a lot of debt, bad debts. Also ends up with a lot of issues that people might face because they wanted things prematurely. The other is procrastination or indecision. So you say, I'm going to do it, I'll do it, but you never get around to doing it. So that's a procrastination or indecision. You know what needs to be done, but you just don't get around to do it. At times, it's just poor associates or the people that we spend our time with or the people in our network, they have an impact in our lives. Whether we like it or not, whether we admit it or not, we are the average of the people that are closest to us, 5 average people, or birds of a feather. Even the Bible warns us about associating with people because they have a residual effect on our lives, the people that we spend our time with. There's also fear, which I call an acronym for fantasized experiences appearing real. In other words, you're just afraid. You're just afraid. And when you are encountering fear, you then feel paralyzed. And the reality is most of the things that we're afraid of never happen anyway. So it's that fear. You know what you need to do. You know you need to start that business. You know you need to start that, change this, change that, but you're just afraid. And finally, it could be poor habits. It could be poor habits. You find yourself just investing most of your time in things that you shouldn't. A lot of poor habits are there. It could be social media. There's a lot of poor habits from social media, which takes away a lot of people's time. There could be other poor habits that people have. So it's really, if you have got poor habits, it's taking away your time. It's also taking away your resources, maybe taking away your finances from the things that you really need to be investing in because of the poor habits that you might be having. So these are the reasons, or some of the reasons that I think people fail to renew their lives, and we'll be addressing them, giving you a holistic approach for us to be addressing those. But the question is, what about you? What about you? Which one can you relate with? Which one can you relate with? Now, this is really getting personal, it's getting specific. What about you? Which one can you relate with? As I said, the chat is open. If you want to share, please feel free to share on the chat. You also can talk there and make sure that everyone gets to see your message. So you just make sure that when you are joining, when you are putting your comment, you put your comment to everyone, and then we can see what comment you have there. So that chat is open for that purpose. And when we say, what about you? What is the feeling that you get? Do you get depressed, or you spend some time really reflecting and saying, which one is really applicable to me? Which one can I? Which one resonates with me? And again, just to remind you, the reason can be not having God at the center of your life, no well-defined purpose, lack of ambition, lack of self-discipline, instant gratification, procrastination, poor associates or networks, fear or poor habits. So which one is applicable to you? The chat is open. You can share. You can share on the chat. It's open. But also, please feel free to actually write on your notes, and the one that you really are struggling with, the one that you want to reflect on, the one that you want to spend your time focusing on. So again, that's okay. So you can still chat there and share your insights with yourself. So as we reflect on this, and as we reflect on which one we relate to, once we talk about renewal, we naturally want to get to the area of resolutions. You resolve to become better. You resolve to become better. As Ismail said, the start of a year is a good time for us to make resolutions. And these are the top 10 resolutions that people make to exercise, to get organized in a specific area, or to help others, maybe by being more generous or in other practical ways, or to learn a new skill, maybe a new language or a new skill in an area where you think you need to invest your time and resources in, or to get out of debt. Yeah, we know that a lot of people are in debt. Again, a resolution of getting out of debt, becoming debt-free, becoming financially independent, or just more family time. I spend a lot of my time at work. I spend a lot of my time doing this or that, but I'm making a deliberate decision to spend more time with my family, or to enjoy life more, whatever that enjoyment means, maybe by way of recreation, or to quit smoking, or to quit drinking, or to lose weight. So these are generally the summary of the 10 resolutions that people come up with. And as you can see, they are all neat. As we start the year, people have got their resolutions. But you find that a lot of people then find themselves in this situation where things are crumbled, and year in, year out, people have actually failed to achieve those resolutions. So year in, year out, someone wants to lose weight, they are failing. Someone wants to get fit, they are failing. Someone wants to give up alcohol and cigarettes, they are failing. They're just now saying, you know what, I'll just drink less. Someone wants to stand up to their boss, but now they are jobless. Someone wants to be nice to their spouse, now they don't even have a spouse. Or someone wants to clean the shed, now it's their life which needs to be cleaned up. So these are some of the realities that people face. And the question is why? What will have happened if someone started the year with those neat resolutions and now they are finding themselves in this situation? What could have happened? In fact, Paul covers it up nicely in Romans 7:15. He says, I do not understand what I do. I do not understand what I do. For what I want to do, I do not do. But what I hate, I do. I do not understand what I do. For what I want to do, I do not do. But what I hate, I do. A lot of us find ourselves in this situation where you're really thinking, I don't know. Because I really wanted to do this. I was committed as the year started. I really wanted to renew my life, but things didn't happen. What happened? What happened? And you're just reflecting and asking yourself, God, what is it really that happened? How am I finding myself in this situation? And you reflect on that. But the same Paul in 2 Timothy 1:7 says, God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. And then you're like, God, where is that spirit that you gave me? That spirit of being powerful, or that spirit of love, and maybe in this context, more importantly, that spirit of self-control, because I know what I want to do and what I want to do, I do not do, and it's effectively the opposite. So, God, can you just help me there? And we reflect, and we reflect. And then we say, but what does God promise us? In Romans 12:2, it speaks about renewing your mind. Renewing your mind. And today, that's what we really want to focus on. How do I renew my mind? How do I renew my mind? Especially now that I have got good resolutions, I know the areas that I want to renew, or I need to think, which areas do I want to renew my mind in? And that's what we really want to then focus on. But when you make that decision of saying, I want to renew my mind, the first question is, where do I start? In this renewal journey, where do I start? Where do I start with this decision of renewing my mind? Where do I start? Now, a lot of us get stuck. We don't know where to start, or we don't know how to start. But I just want to share with you some insights on where you can start. It's always good to go to the beginnings. It's always good to go to the foundation. And maybe a good starting point is to just ask yourself, why was I born? Why was I born? What is this thing that is in front of me that I was literally born to do? It's about understanding that you were born with a purpose. It's about understanding that you are not a biological accident. Whether your parents thought you were or they didn't, whether your parents were struggling to have you or they didn't want you, it really doesn't matter. Either way, you were born with a purpose. So the question then is, what is my purpose? Or what is my mission? Why was I born? In John 19:30, Jesus says, it is finished. It is finished. What was finished? His purpose on earth. Acts 13:36 says, when David had served God's purposes in his own generation, he fell asleep. When David had served God's purposes in his own generation, he fell asleep. We know that all of us will fall asleep or will die at some point. The question is, can we really say when BUSANI had served God's purposes in his own generation, he fell asleep? Can you replace David with your own name and say, when I had served God's purposes in my own generation, I will fall asleep? But what are these God's purposes for me in my own generation? Jeremiah 1:5 helps us explain that. It says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. So we know for Jeremiah that it was very clear he was appointed as a prophet to the nations. And when he had done his prophecy, he fell asleep because he had served God's purposes in his own generation. What about you? What about you? Have you taken time to reflect and say, why was I born? Why was I born? What is my mission? What is my purpose? What is it that I'm supposed to have done in serving God's purposes in my own generation? Have you taken time to reflect on that? Have you taken time to reflect on that? Mark Twain says, the two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. We are all born, and most of us celebrate our birthdays, some in big ways, others in small ways, but we take time to celebrate because it's an important day. We take time to note that date because it's an important day. What about the day you find out why you were born? Why were you born? Have you reflected on why was I born? Maybe you might not know the day you found out, but why was I born? And again, it's usually a process for you to be able to find that. Nelson Mandela says, when a man has done what he considers to be his duty to his people and his country, he can rest in peace. When a man has done what he considers to be his duty to his people and his country, he can rest in peace. I believe I've made that effort, and that is therefore why I will sleep for eternity. That was Nelson Mandela before he slept for eternity. Now, what is your duty to your people and your country and the world? What is your duty? Have you taken time to consider what it is that is your purpose or what it is that is your duty? Maybe as I'm sharing about this, you are thinking, I have no clue what you're talking about. I have no clue. I have no clue what is my purpose. And we're like, but I like this idea of having a purpose. I like this idea of saying it's finished. I like this idea of serving God's people, doing his purposes during my generation. I like that. But where do I find my purpose? Where do I find my purpose? Good question. Now, for you to start reflecting on where you can find your purpose, there are certain things that you can do. One is to ask yourself, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want to be remembered for? Now, when we're asking the question, what do you want to be remembered for? We're just saying, can we fast forward to the end of your life? We have looked at, why was I born? Can we fast forward to the end of your life? If your life comes to an end and people are reflecting on your life, and you have a casket, hopefully as nice as this one, and you are lying there, or your body is lying there, and your spirit is at the back, and you are just of this church or wherever the people are, or the graveyard site, and people are just talking about you. What do you want people to say? What is this theme that you want to come across? So that as people, your colleagues stand up, as your family stands up, as your spouse stands up, as your neighbors stand up, as your colleagues stand up, as the people that you have interacted with stand up to share. Can there be a theme that can come through? Can we have a headline in the following day's newspaper which says, here lies a man of this, or here lies a man who will be remembered for this? So for me, I've reflected on that question over and over, and I said, really, when the time comes for me to fall to sleep, or when the time comes for me to go home, I just want to be remembered as a great leader. he was a great leader. And he was a great teacher. That's it. So if in the summary of my life, he was a great leader, he was a great teacher, that's it, that's it. But what about you? What is it that you really want to be remembered for? What difference do you want to make in this world? Now, as you reflect on it, you might actually write things down. You say, I want to be remembered as someone who cared for the poor. I want to be remembered as someone who was loving. I want to be remembered as someone who was giving. I want to be remembered as someone who was... What is that? For you, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want to be remembered for? Can you just take time to reflect on what it is that you want to be remembered for? Again, like I said, I've asked you to have pen and paper. Please write your reflections down, and the chat is also open. If you want to share with everyone what you want to be remembered for, you never know. We might attend your funeral, and then we might be able to tell the master of ceremonies that, hey, this guy really said he wants to be remembered for this. Okay, can you add it there? What do you want to be remembered for? We also say, as we look at what we want to be remembered for at the end of our lives, it's also good to go to the beginning, okay? To go to the beginning. And when we go back to the beginning, you ask the question, what was your childhood dream? As a young boy, and when you were reflecting, and you were dreaming, you were in primary school, early years, you're actually dreaming, and you're saying, when I grow up, I want to be a what? Before your parents and neighbors and friends and everyone else influenced your idea of what you wanted to be, what is it that you wanted to be? What did you want to be? And in there, you are finding the core of really what it is that you are called to. As you look at the area, it doesn't matter the career that you are coming up with, but what lies behind that career? Is it to be a person of service? Is it to be a giver? Is it to be a caregiver? What is it exactly that was lying there? I remember sharing with anyone who cared to find out what I want to be when I grow up. I used to always tell them, when I grow up, I want to be a teacher. When I grow up, I want to be a teacher. And teaching has always been my passion. I've loved teaching. I've taught, as Ishmael said, in numerous conferences. I've taught thousands of people. I taught in university for 9 years as a university lecturer. So I love teaching. I love teaching. But in as much as I love teaching, I remember that when I told my parents that I want to be a teacher, they strongly discouraged me against it. They told me, you are too intelligent, you can make more money, and you can do more than being a teacher. But that was my passion. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. And even as I have risen through the ranks, as I've done what I have done, at the core, I really want to be a teacher. What about you? What about you? What was your childhood dream? What is this thing that you are so passionate about? And you say, when I grow up, I want to be a. When I grow up, I want to be a. What is that for you? And Michael says, there are many things in life that will catch your eye, but only a few that will catch your heart. Pursue those. There are many things in life that will catch your eye, but only a few that will catch your heart. Pursue those. So what are those things that are catching your heart? What are those things that you need to pursue? Because there are so many things, and there are so many good things out there, but we can't be everything to everyone. We can't do everything. It's to just say, for me, my calling is in this particular area. As I said, I am called to be a teacher. There are certain opportunities which might arise of taking care of people, of being other things other than a teacher. It doesn't touch my heart as much as really being a teacher. What about you? What about you? What is your mission? What is your mission? Whatever it is that you come up with as your mission, it should focus on helping humanity or building others in some way. It should focus on helping humanity or building others in some way. What about yours? Nelson Mandela says, what counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is the difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. What difference would we have made to the life of others? What difference would you have made to the lives of others? Are you intentional about being a difference maker in the life of others for you to be able to achieve that significance? I lived, I came, and it is finished. I've done what God called me to do. And as we do this, we need to remember what God says, as each one has received a special gift. Employ it in serving one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. As each one has received a special gift, employ it in serving one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. So in other words, we are basically acknowledging that each and every one of us has a special gift. Before you were born with a special gift, the gift which you need to dispense to others, the gift which you need to use to serve others. And as we're serving others with these special gifts, we need to understand that that gift is not ours. It was free. It was a gift. And all that we are called upon to do is to be good steward, because it was by the grace of God that he gave us those gifts. Each one a different gift. Each one meant to serve others. It's by his grace that we have got that gift. So as you reflect on your own gifts, as you reflect on your own calling, as you reflect on what God has called you to do for humanity, remember, it's a gift. It's a gift. And that gift is not only for you, it's for serving others. It's for serving others. And as you are serving, you need to have the humility of understanding that you are but a steward of a gift. You are but a steward of a gift. And that gift is coming from his grace. It's from his grace. So what gift do you have? What gift do you have? And are you using that gift in serving others? Are you serving them with a heart of stewardship? Understanding in humility that it is by his grace that you have this gift. So for me, my mission, I'm here to make a positive difference through personal and leadership development. That's me. That's me. That's what I love. That's if you find me speaking, whether in person or like right now, that's what I love. That's what I love. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Because I was born to that. That's the gift that God has given me. And I'm passing it on. I'm serving others with it. And as people come and share with me the testimonies of the impact of the lessons that I have given them, or the impact of my leadership in their lives, the impact of the nuggets that I will have shared them in their lives. And as people come and say, you changed my life, I know it's not me. It is the grace. It is the grace. And it's my role to be a good steward, to serve others. What about you? What about you? That is the question. What is your mission? What is your mission? Why were you born? Why were you born? Give you some seconds there to just reflect and jot it down. As you are reflecting on it and as you are jotting it down, it might not necessarily be clear. It might not necessarily be perfect. It might not be a nice, well-crafted statement, but it's the initial thoughts. It's the aha moments. It's the insights that you are getting from yourself. Even as I'm speaking, it's not about the words that I'm talking. It's about what you are saying to yourself. As you are reflecting, this is me. This is me. I'm not about personal and leadership development. I'm about caring for orphans. I'm not even about caring for orphans. I'm about helping bring dignity to the underprivileged in whatever area. Bring dignity to the people on the streets. Bring dignity to who? What is your mission? What is your mission? Take some time to jot it quickly. Just jot it down. What is your mission? 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 Now, once you have come up with that mission, once you have written that mission, Habakkuk 2 says, write the vision and make it plain. Write the vision and make it plain, so that he who reads may run. Write the vision and make it plain. So the mission is really about why was I born? The vision is what are the tangible things that I'm going to leave behind as a sign that I was here. What are the tangible evidence that will remain as a sign that I was here? What is that? Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Or the other version says, where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. Where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. They live a reckless life. Anthony says, if you don't know where you are going, you will never get there. If you don't know where you are going, you will never get there. So if you don't have a vision for your life, you will never get there. Or as Lewis says, if you don't know where you are going, any road will get you there. If you don't know where you are going, any road will get you there. Where is this road that you are on now going to get you? Is it time to renew that road? Is it time to come up with a new path? Yogi says, if you don't know where you are going, when you get there, you'll be lost. If you don't know where you are going, when you get there, you'll be lost. A lot of people pursue things which are meaningless, maybe just driven by the money. And when all is said and done, when all is finished, they are lost. They are lost. They are at a point of, it's just a life of regrets, regretting where they find themselves. If you don't know where you are going, when you get there, you will be lost. But as Miles Monroe says, when you know where you are going, you know which roads will not take you there. When you know where you are going, you know which roads will not take you there. So do you know which roads will not take you there? Are you intentional that when you see detours or when you see 10 right, 10 left signs, you ignore them because you know you're not going there? You know where you are going and your vision is very clear. And you are like, no, thank you, I'll pass. No, thank you, I'll pass. No, this is a detour. It's not where I'm going. So the issue is, can you focus on your vision? Can you just take time to focus on your vision? Can you take time to bring clarity on your vision? Can you be very clear, crystal clear about what it is that you are supposed to do? In other words, what are your dreams? What are your dreams? So when we talk about vision, we can replace that word with dreams. And at times for other people, it's easier. When you say, what is your vision? People might get lost. But when you say, what are your dreams? What are your dreams? What are your hopes? When we ask that question, what are your dreams? What are your hopes? We are really saying, what is your vision with your life? And people will be able to come back and say, I hope to have this. My dream is by the end of my life, I should have made a difference in this particular area. So what is it time to hope for? As you renew your mind, as you renew your life, as you renew your business, what is it time to hope for? What changes is it time to hope for? What changes is it time to hope for in your life? For me, my vision is to be called home as a fulfilled, happy, healthy, and wealthy Christian family man who owns a consultancy firm, Koke Leadership Center, that will have trained 10,000 global leaders in personal and institutional leadership. That's me, that's my mission. I really want to be called home. When all is said and done, I don't find myself in hell, no. But I also want to go home as a fulfilled person who has done what God called me to do, where I can say, it is finished. It is finished. Or I have run my race. It is finished. I also want to be happy because I'm doing something which I'm passionate about. I'm doing something which is satisfying to me. I also want to be healthy, so I'll take care of my health. I also want to be wealthy so that I have got enough to live for my generations and generations and generations and generations. And also so that I'll be able to bless the kingdom, be able to get the gospel to move. I also want to make sure that I have got an institution for building leaders. And I'm proud of what God has done through my life. They have been able to, a lot of leaders, now more than 2,000 global leaders, as we said, across different parts of the continent. And I've also been able to get a couple of millions. So happy with what I've done. But the question is not about my mission or my vision. It's really about yours. It's really about yours. What is your vision? What is your vision? Can you just take some time to reflect and saying, this is my vision. This is what I want to achieve. These are my dreams. And when you are doing that dream, you're saying, just before I die, this is what I want to have done with my life. This is what I want to have done with the gift that God has given me. This is what I want to have done with the purposes for which God has set me apart. This is the tangible evidence that I want to leave behind, that BUSANI walked in this earth and he did what God called him to do for his people, for his country, for his nations. What about you? What about you? What is your vision? 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 So I just want to pause now and just check in with you. How is the session so far? Feedback. How is it so far? Are we learning something? The chat is open. Let's hear your comments. The chat is open. Are you getting some aha moments? Are you getting some aha moments? The chat is open. The chat is open. Please share your views, your thoughts. Or you just switched on the what? Or you just switched on the machine and you left it running. Are you there? Chat is open. Talk to me. Talk to me. The chat is open. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Dalvia there. How is it for you? Thought-provoking. Thanks, Emily. I'm enjoying the teaching. Thanks, Camildo. What about you? How is it for you? How is it for you? The chat is open. For me, it's a reminder of what I am. Thanks, Vanuza. The chat is open. What about you? What about for you? What about for you? What about for you? Just waiting for at least one more person to comment. We have a lot of people on the chat. Surely should be able to get one more comment. One more comment. We are enjoying the course. Thank you. Thank you. Profound teaching. Thank you. It reminds me of what I enjoy the most in life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we said, why were you born? Why were you born? And then we went down and said, what is your vision? Or what are your dreams? Denzel Washington reminds us that dreams without goals are just dreams, and ultimately they fuel disappointments. Dreams without goals are just dreams, and ultimately they fuel disappointments. What about for you? So now we want to say how to set and achieve your goals. How to set and achieve your goals. That's what we want to look at now. Now that you have come up with your mission, or you have reflected on your mission, you have reflected on your vision, how do you set and achieve your goals? That's what we want to look at now. That's what we want to look at now. Now, Tony says, setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. Setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. Now, when we are talking about the invisible, the vision is not visible. The vision is about the future. It's about what you see with your, not with your natural eyes. It's the things that you see with your mind. It's things that are outside you. But now you're saying, how do you make that tangible? How do you make the dreams visible? And you do that by setting goals. So that's the first step of turning the invisible into the visible, as Tony says. But maybe we can start off by pausing and really go basic and define what is a goal. What is a goal? A goal is anything you desire to experience, to create, to get, to do, or to become. Anything. So when you're talking about goals, you can look at anything that you desire. Goals are about desire. Anything that you desire. And we can have different kinds of goals. We can get experience goals, things that I desire to experience. Things that I desire to experience. I want to experience this feeling. Okay. I want to experience this state of mind. At times, it's about things that you want to create. I want to get this tangible thing that I want to make. I want to create something. I want to build something. I want to build a home. I want to build a house. I want to create a business. I want to create something which is tangible. Or at times, a goal is about what you want to get. What you want to get. I want to get this degree. I want to get this certification. I want to get this thing. I want to get this car. I want to get this. Or it could be about something that you want to do. So my goal is an action goal. I want to do something. I want to exercise. I want to do something. I want to cook. I want to do something. It's specific. It's things that involves action, me actually doing them. Now, a lot is being said about goals of becoming. Goals of becoming. Who do I want to become? Who do I want to become? Now, that's a very important goal. The more becoming goals we have, the more we are focusing on things that really matter. What was I born to be? What was I born to become? So if we focus on goals of becoming a better person, becoming a more caring person, becoming a person who can express God's love in its various dimensions, what can I become? What can I become? The question is, are you intentionally or consciously setting goals? At times we just wake up and you say, what's the goal for today? What do I want to do? Today I want to do this and that, yes. Or at times we just drift around and we have not taken time to consciously, intentionally set goals. Now, it's very useful to be intentional about setting your goals. You can't say, I'll wing it. There are people that have started a movement or anti-resolutions movement. It's like they are specialists in criticizing anyone who comes up with resolutions. They want everyone not to be intentional about setting resolutions for their lives. What about you? Are you falling for that trap? Are you intentional about, this is my life, I am going to set goals on my life. This is the things that I want to do with my life and I'm going to work on that. In other words, are you intentional about creating the future that you want? Are you intentional about creating the future that you want? So that you just don't bump into a future that has been created by someone who obviously has very little plans for you. What about you? Now, I just want to also emphasize that there are two types of goals: performance goals and growth goals. Performance goals and growth goals. Performance goals are the tangible goals. They are the normal things that we call goals. These are the things that I want to have. I want to have a house. I want to have a car. I want to have a wedding. I want to have this. So these are the tangible things that you can actually talk about. I want to have a business. Tangible goals. I want to lose weight. Tangible goals. And then there are growth goals. Growth goals are about the becoming part. Who will I become in the process of achieving this performance goal? Who will I become? So if I'm studying, by the time I graduate, the tangible thing that I will have is a certificate. But what is more important is the growth that will have happened. It's not about that piece of paper. It's about the growth that will have happened. So the same, my performance goal might be, I want to have a business, but it's not really the business that you have. It's who you become, the growth that you have. Learning to deal with your fears as you go through. Learning to deal with your bad habits so that you create time to study. Learning to deal with distractions or things that destroy your ability to achieve your goals. So as we're looking at goals, I just want us to really understand that goals can be performance, or they can be growth, or they can work together. If they work together, that's important. At times we fail to achieve our performance goals because we have not put in a growth goal. I have a performance goal, I want to start a business, but I have not put a growth goal to say, how am I going to deal with my fear? How am I going to deal with my bad habits? How am I going to get these new habits? How am I even going to grow and get these new skills that are required for me to run this business? What are the growth goals that I need to have? So if you ask someone who has built a house, compared to someone who has bought a house, those two people are totally different. The houses might look identical. So their goals were to have house, it might be an identical house. But the person who has gone through the building of that house has gone through a lot of growth. So their growth will have been significantly more than the growth that someone who just buys a house goes through. Now they know negotiating skills. They now know how to manage cash flows. They now know how to manage human beings, how to manage laborers, how to deal with people who are stealing cement and bricks and things like that. A lot of things that you go through, as anyone who has built would agree with me. So there's a lot of growth that you go through when you are actually building a house than someone who has just bought the house. Performance goals versus growth goals. So what is a goal? And then maybe now that you have got a clue of what a goal is, we just want to take some time to talk about why is goal setting important? Why is it important to set goals? Why is it important to set goals? Now, a few reasons. One, goals give us focus. Goals give us focus. Once you have set a goal, it has got the ability to focus. Now, where we are, there are so many things that we are seeing. There are so many things which are catching our attention. But when we have a goal, it makes us focus. I'm sure all of you who own cars, when you decided that you want to buy a car and you decided the kind of car that you wanted, all of a sudden you saw similar cars on the road. It's called focus. When you decide that you want to go and visit a specific country on holiday, for example, or for business, all of a sudden you even suddenly know where their embassy is within your city. You even know people that are from that country. You even see a lot of things which are related to that. Even when you are just browsing newspapers and magazines or social media, suddenly it's clear to you that you realize, oh, that's what's happening there. Oh, that's what's happening there. So yes, goals give us focus. Goals give us focus. Now, goals also allow us to measure progress. Goals allow us to measure progress. When we have set a goal properly, you can see your progress. So, for example, if you have set a goal to say, I want to achieve so much profit for my business by the end of this year, now it allows you to measure progress because you've already said, oh, I want to achieve so much. You are automatically forced to say, where am I now? How am I doing? Or if you say, oh, I want to lose so many kgs by the end of this year, it allows you to measure that progress. So all of a sudden, because now you've got a number that you are targeting, and a goal without a number is not a goal, it's a wish. So once you've got those goals which have got numbers, now the fact that there's numbers there forces you to have progress. Now, it allows us to measure the progress. How are we doing? Goals help us to stay motivated. Goals help us to stay motivated. Now, because there's something that you are working on, there's something that you are working towards, you cannot help not be motivated. So there's something that you are now can say, this is where I'm going, this is where I'm progressing. I can be motivated because I can tick off. So like, for example, for this year, I've set my goals of the weight that I want to lose, seeing as I was eating too much over the festive season. But now I'm already motivated because I can see the grams that are coming out. I can sense that I'm making progress because it's very clear. But if I just said, oh, I want to be lighter by the end of the year, lighter is difficult for me to measure it on a day-to-day basis. So goals help us to stay motivated. Goals also help us to be forward-looking. Goals help us to be forward-looking. Goals are at the core of coaching. And coaching by its essence, by its nature, is about looking forward. It's not like counseling when you are looking backwards. It's not about where you are really saying what happened and who didn't do what. So goals is about looking forward. What are you hoping? What are you hoping for? So goals help us to stay motivated and looking forward because we are like, it doesn't matter where I am now. I might be living the most horrible life, but I'm looking forward. I'm looking at the next step. If I do this, if I do that, if I do this, if I do that. So it's motivating, and it also helps us look forward because once you have got goals, you are now looking at the horizon. You are looking at where you are going. Goals also help us achieve more. Goals also help us achieve more. Now, when you start setting up goals, even if those are small goals that you are starting with by setting, all of a sudden you are able to now start working on small things that you can achieve. So you can be able to say, you know what, this is my goal, and I just want to lose 1 kg. In the first month, when you lose 1 kg, you feel like doing more. So there's this attraction, this almost addiction that you get when you start working on your goals. When you're starting pursuing progress, when you're starting getting focus, you find that inevitably, naturally, you end up doing more. So someone who starts off with a small goal of saying, you know what, I want to save 100, whatever currency per week. They will save 100 first week, second week, third week. In the fourth week, when they see they've got 400, suddenly they start speaking, you know what? Instead of saving 100, I can save 105. I can save 110. So you almost have got a snowballing effect that you get when you've got goals. So you start with the small things, you increase on your goals, and naturally you end up achieving more. So goals really help us achieve much more. At times, they help us achieve much more because of that focus that we have, even if you haven't had the incremental effect. Now, because you are intentional, I want to save this, I want to do this, and then because you are focused, you are usually able to achieve more. So that's what goals do. They help us achieve more. Now, I'm just checking on some comments. I'm seeing some comments that have come through. Just reading it. Good lesson, learning a lot. Thank you, Mr. Ice. Sedalia, learning a lot. Thank you. You're welcome. Now there's Glovish saying setting goals is the first step to creating the future you want and feel fulfilled. Having at least the basic 5 below goals can help in both performance and growth. Experience goals, creative goals, achievable goals, action goals, becoming goals. Yes, great. Thank you. Yes, that's true. So yeah, so these are the reason why goal setting is important, and why it's important is you are renewing your life, as you are renewing your business, to really take time and understand there's power in goal setting. There's power in goal setting. Now, looking from what Glovish says, then it's important for us to plan goals. So when you're looking at the goals, you also want to make sure that you live a balanced life. You live a balanced life. So some of the things we've already said, goals make us achieve more. Goals end up giving you almost an addiction in terms of the things that you want to do. So it becomes important for us to balance our lives and have goals in all the areas of our lives, or in all the key areas of our lives. We call that the wheel of life. So having goals in these 8 areas in the wheel of life. So setting goals to help you achieve your vision in your health, setting goals to help you achieve your vision in your church or community, setting goals to achieve your vision as far as fun and recreation is concerned, for your finances, for your marriage, for your business and career, for your family and friends, for personal development. Because at times, some people get carried away with having goals in one area at the expense of the rest. So you can find someone has done very well in their finances, but their relationships are in shambles, all of them. Or someone has done very well in their personal development, but their health has suffered. Or someone has done very well in all the other areas, but they forgot to take time for fun and recreation. So they are doing so well, but they're also so miserable. And then now dealing with mental health issues and things like that. So it's very important for us to make sure that we've got the balance when we are looking at our goals. That balance is critical. That balance is very important. Plan the right goals. Now, what are the foundational principles for goal setting? What are the foundational principles for goal setting? We have 3 foundational principles. 1, values drive goals. Values drive goals. In other words, when you are setting your goals, make sure that your goals are based on your values. Don't set goals of things that you don't value. Now, if you don't value your health, you will never have good physical or mental health goals because you don't value it. So when you are setting your goals, make sure that is aligned with your values, because if it's aligned with your values, it will be rewarding. It will be fulfilling. So as long as your goals are value-based, naturally, you are making it easier for you to find your goals rewarding and also to find your goals fulfilling because they are based on your values. So very important for us to have values driving our goals. Secondly, we want to also make sure that motivation drives perseverance. Motivation drives perseverance, especially intrinsic motivation in the long run. Especially intrinsic motivation in the long run. So what does that look like? It looks like really understanding that you need to focus on driving the things that you want to be able to achieve from a motivation perspective. You need to make sure that you are not just doing things that you want to do now, but you are going beyond the things that you want to do now. You are looking at, can I persevere because of the things that I have decided to focus on? Can I be able to drive this beyond today, beyond now? Can I be able to go and do much, much better? So that's really what we're talking about motivation driving perseverance. If that motivation is coming intrinsic, If it's something that we were born to do, if it's something that we like, we will naturally be motivated to do it. So, for example, if it comes to leadership development and preparing for things to do with leadership development, for me, my motivation is intrinsic. I love that. However, if you ask me to do certain things which are not intrinsic to me, they are not my calling area, like you tell me, let's go and visit people in hospitals. I don't like the sight of hospitals. I don't like being in hospitals. So I can never be intrinsically motivated to go to hospitals because I don't like it. I can do it because we know the church has said we do it, the ministry calls, or I can do it because my relative is there, close person is there, but I will not naturally be motivated to go and visit hospitals. Neither will I be motivated to go and visit prisons. Neither will I be motivated to go and help someone who's in an accident and things like that because it's not intrinsic. I'm scared of blood. I'm scared of those kind of things. So it's important that as we are setting goals, we set goals of things that really motivate us. And then in the tough times when we don't feel like doing it, and that happens with all goals, when we don't even feel like doing it, we are able to persevere. We're able to persevere because we are working off our motivation. And thirdly, hope creates goals. Hope creates goals, authentic goals. So if you want to come up with the most authentic goals, if you want to come up with the most real goals, you just ask yourself, what is the time to hope? What is it time to hope for? As I am renewing my life, as I am renewing everything concerning me, what is it time to hope for? What is it time to hope for? Now, just take that time and ask yourself, if my goals are based on hope, I hope to be able to have a roof over my head. I hope to be able to save money for this. I hope to be able to do, I hope to, once you start your goals by the things that you're hoping to do, you are likely to come up with authentic goals. So 3 foundational principles for goal setting. 1, values drive goals. Values drive goals. 2, motivation drives perseverance. Motivations drive perseverance because goal achievement is not a sprint, it's a marathon. There are times when it's going to be tough, when we need to persevere. Hope creates goals, authentic goals. 3 foundational principles for setting goals. Now, we want to look at the 6 building blocks of goal setting. 6 building blocks of goal setting. So what are the things that we need if we are going to set our goals? The first one is self-confidence or belief. Self-confidence or belief. The belief that I can. Okay, the belief that I can. Now, when you are setting goals, make sure that you set goals within your belief spectrum. You set goals of things that you believe. So if you don't believe, don't set the goal. Now, we're not saying you're not going to be able to achieve it, but because your belief system is fighting against you, you're not going to achieve it. So, for example, we used to enjoy walking and we even will walk like 35 kilometers on a Saturday and things like that. Now, if I ask someone who has never walked a kilometer to say, can we set a goal of walking 35 kilometers? Their belief system will refuse because they don't believe it. Even me, if you ask me at the beginning of the year, when I actually was able to run that, my belief system will have refused because I had not done it. So when you are setting your goals, start with things that you believe. So if you want to lose weight and someone tells you, oh, you can lose 10 or 10%, if your belief system refuses, you can't. But if someone says, you know what, you can lose 1 kg per month or 500 grams per month, for most people, your belief system will say, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. So it's important that we have that belief as the first. So don't set goals of things that you don't believe. It doesn't mean that you are not able to achieve them. It just means that your belief system is not yet there. Your belief system might get there with time. I remember when I attended the John Maxwell certification and he said, everyone, just write your annual salary on a piece of paper. So I wrote my annual salary on a piece of paper. And then he says, add 0 at the end. So you add a 0 and he says, you know, you can earn that much. Now, for most of us, almost half the room, people were shaking their heads in disbelief because people did not believe that they can earn 10 times what they're earning. But the question is, are there people who earn 10 times what you are earning? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So if you start entertaining that belief to say, you know what, it's possible. I can actually earn 10 times more than what I'm earning because there are people who actually earn that. In fact, maybe you even know some executives who earn more than 10 times more than you earn. And then you can now start saying, you know what? I don't believe that I can earn 10 times. Well, maybe not for now, but maybe I can earn 10% more, or maybe 50% more, or maybe 100% more, or maybe I can earn it not just from my job, but maybe I can earn it from also my side hustle, or also from that. So belief is a very important block in goal setting. The second building block for goal setting is specificity. Specificity. Specificity is having vivid goals. The more specific your goals are, the easier it is for you to have specific plans and actions. So it's really, we call it the S in the SMART goals. The goal needs to be specific. Now, a lot of people struggle with really getting to the full meaning of specific. Now, a lot of people will say, I want to lose weight. That's not specific. You haven't said how much weight you want to lose. Or I want to have a successful company. You have not identified what a successful company looks like. I want to be rich. How rich do you want to be? I want to be specific. Be specific. The more specific you are, the better. So if you say, oh, I want to send my children to school, you're not specific. What kind of school? In which place? In which country? Have you actually looked at the specific school? But if you say, I want to send my children to this specific school, all of a sudden, you now find out what's happening in that school, who is the head of that school, what are the principals of that school, how much is the school fees in that school, what's happening in that school. And so whenever you are thinking of even moving from that neighborhood, you are like, no, I'll miss the school, I can't do that, because you are specific. Now, the same, if you are setting a goal for your business and say, oh, I want my business to make more money this year, that's not specific. But if you are clear that our goal as a business for this year, we want to achieve a profit after tax of XXX amount, that's very specific. So everyone is able to rally behind something which is specific. Like I said earlier on, that focus, which is linked with specific, means that you're able to see things. You're able to even notice things. You're able to draw into your consciousness a lot of things because of that specificity. Third building block is flow. Flow. Flow means, it's just a fancy word. It just means stretching without breaking. So it's, in other ways, we are saying, is this goal attainable? Attainable. Is this goal achievable? And when we're saying, is this goal achievable, we're saying, is this goal aligned with my skill set? Is this goal aligned with my skill set? Now, if your goal is easy, it's just breathing, then you don't put any effort. Okay. If you need to lose weight and you want to lose 1 gram, it's not stretching. Okay. But you want to have something which is that sweet spot between something that you can do without putting any effort and something where you put as much effort, but it's the maximum effort. So it's that stretch before breaking. So very important for us to have that flow, stretching without breaking. So it's a stretch, but it's achievable. So you have stretched it, but your belief still says, I can do it. Okay, I was planning to build this house over 2 years, but now I want to stretch it. I want to build it over 1.5 years. I still think I can do it if I put more effort, if I do this. It's a stretch. The fourth building block is training and experience. Training and experience. In other words, do I have the skills? Do I have the gaps that needs to be filled? I say this is what I want to do, but do I have experience in that area? So if you're saying you want to start a business in an area where you don't have any experience, you need to get skills as they relate to that. Or you need to get skills as they relate to the training that you need or the learning gaps. So it's really to say, for this goal that I want to achieve, what are my gaps? What are my learning gaps? And how am I going to do better? So for example, you might be a marketing person or you might be an entrepreneur and you are ready, you have got your idea of the business that you want to run. However, there's one challenge that you will need to deal with. And the challenge is, I am not a good accountant. I can't do numbers. I can't do numbers. So if I can't do numbers, it means I need training and experience in accounting for non-accountants. That's an area. Or I need to be a leader, but there are these soft skills that I need to develop. Maybe I need mentorship. Maybe I need coaching. Maybe I need specific training. What are the skills that I need to have? Maybe I need negotiating skills because I'm deciding I want to build. Or maybe I need to do something. So what is the training and experience that I need to focus on? What are the training and experiences that I need to focus on? So those are some of the questions that you might have. Or commitment. The fifth building block is commitment. Commitment is really, do I have the time to do this? Do I have the time? It's really understanding that time is a finite resource. You only have got 24 hours. So there are certain things which you can be dragged into, or you can start thinking, I want to do this thing, but I don't have the time. I simply don't have the time. I might want to say, oh, I want to start studying. I want to also start my new business. I want to work well on my job and I want to get promotion. I also want to start participating more in church activities. I also want to start. Do I have the time? I don't. So for now, some things have to wait. Some things have to wait. Or it could be an issue of finances. Do I have the financial resources for me to do what I want to do? I've got this grand idea of things that I want to do. I've got this house that I want to, but I simply don't have the finances to do that now. Am I going to borrow? Okay. Or maybe instead of just building or buying a complete house, maybe I need to just buy a piece of land because my finances don't allow me. So I cannot commit to that goal because I don't have the finances. What about the support structure? Maybe you have got a goal that you're working on and your spouse or your children or your parents are not supportive. You're like, you know what? I want to be a footballer or I want to be a sports and athlete, but my parents say nothing like that. Go to school, study, become a doctor. So I don't have that support. So if I don't have the support, it means I might actually pause and say, you know what? This thing is not going to happen now because I don't have the support. I need that support structure. At times it's about fears. I'm just afraid. I'm afraid. So if I'm afraid, what am I going to do? I can't do this. Or I need to go back on my training and experience gap and say, how do I deal with fear? How do I deal with fear? Because this fear is affecting my commitment. I can't commit because I'm afraid. What about the distractions that I have to deal with? What about the new habits that I need to deal with? Am I ready to stop these distractions? Am I ready to build those new habits? In other words, am I committed to this goal? It's very important for us to just have that honest conversation with yourself and say, am I committed to this goal? Am I committed to this goal? Or feedback. Feedback. Now, if you are going to work on any goal, you need to have feedback structures. You need to have feedback structures. One, you need to have accountability partners, someone who is going to hold you accountable for the goal that you have come up with. So as you are coming up with your goal, you need to say, where am I going to tell this goal to? Where am I going to ask to hold me accountable for the goal that I've said to? Who is this person that I really want to hold my hand and hold me accountable? Now, you can have your spouse, you can have your parents, you can have your friends, you can have someone who is going to be asking you constantly, who is going to be pestering you about it. In fact, you see accountability, for example, for people that say, oh, I want to pray at midnight, and then it's winter, it's cold, you don't even feel like waking up, getting out of bed. But if you've got an accountability partner who is going to be calling you and waking you up, then you're okay. Now, there's a higher chance that you are going to be able to do that because you've got an accountability partner. You also have got someone who you can celebrate with to say, you know what, we have done it, or you know what, I've done it. Because at times when we have achieved goals, we have no one to share it with. But when you have got that person that you can go to and say, you know what, I set my goal of doing this is where I said I'm going to save so much, this is where I am. I said I'm going to lose this weight, this is where I am. I said my company is going to do this. You know, this is what we're doing. We just got our first big deal. We just did that. After such conversation, after such accountability conversation, you get this intrinsic motivation, this internal satisfaction that yes, my life is meaningful. I'm making a difference. The feedback at times comes by way of scoreboards where you can actually track and see, how am I doing? I said I want to do this, how am I doing? I said I want to do this. So it's just a tracking mechanism. Let's keep score. I said by the end of January, this is where I should be. Am I there? Let's keep score. But the most important feedback that you would really want to focus on is your own feedback. What are you telling yourself? What are you telling yourself? Because it's not always easy. It gets bad. It gets tough at some time. But what are you telling yourself? Are you saying, you know what, BUSANI, it happens. Yeah, it happens. Just keep going. Or today just having a bad day. If just forget about this, today's a bad day. Or that thing just wasn't meant for you. You missed that deal. It just wasn't meant for you. It's okay. It's okay. Someone saying this is okay. Okay. Or you tell yourself all negative feedback. I knew it. I can never do this. I'm not good enough. There are better people. I don't come from the right race. I don't come from the right tribe. I don't come from the right connections. I'm a failure. Once you get yourself to that point of I am a failure, you cannot achieve your goals. So what feedback are you giving yourself? So these are the 6 building blocks of goal setting. 1, self-confidence or belief, specificity, flow, training and experience, commitment, and feedback. Any reflections, thoughts? How is it for you? Reflections, thoughts, are we still learning? Any questions? Reflections, thoughts, are we still learning? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Antonio has a very long contribution there. Thank you so much. Very interesting topic. I'm learning more about goals. We know a lot of things about setting goals, but in a practical life, it's not easy to apply the theory. Yes, that's what we want to help you now. Put it into practice. One of the ways to make our goals come true is to write down all of them and studying all the scenarios to make them happen. Yes, and for that, we need to know what are the resources we have to work with. Yes, true. It's been good to join this topic today. I am expanding my wisdom, and I'll say the way I am working to achieve some of my goals and keep focused and working on. Great. Blessed lesson. Fortunately, even some mistakes in some areas in terms of achieving my goals, I build my goals and I'll keep fighting to make them come true. Well, great. Well done. Thank you. I see someone even gave you a thumbs up there. So yes, well done. Do all goals only depend on my commitment? Do all goals only depend on my commitment? No. Remember what we've said is goals don't depend on one thing. There are all these other things that we've put commitment is one of the 6 things to start with. Commitment is just one of the 6 things. And under commitment, there are a lot of things that we're looking at. So some goals, you might be committed to them, but your environment is just toxic. Okay. You might have all the commitment, I'm 100% committed to the goal, but the environment is toxic. Or I'm committed to the goals, but I don't know how to have what? Other things. I don't have the training, I don't have the experience, or I don't have the feedback mechanism or feedback structure. Or I'm committed to a goal which is not specific. Some people are committed to goals I'm committed to being happy. Okay, I'm committed to being happy. Someone proudly says that. But how do you measure that happiness? It's not specific, so you can't measure it. So yes, so there's a lot. So it's more than commitment. Commitment is just one of the components of the things that we are looking at in detail today. So just one of the things that we're looking at in detail today. Other comments? Any other questions, comments? Okay, so thank you. Okay, welcome. All right, so these are the 6 building blocks. And then most of us will have heard about when you set your goals, you make them smarter. Again, it's similar to the 6 areas that I've covered, but it just means your goals must be specific. It must be measurable. There must be a number on your goal. It must be achievable. You must believe that you can achieve it. It must be relevant. When we're saying a goal must be relevant, we're saying it must be important to you. It must be aligned with your values. It must be relevant on the things that you are doing, that you want to achieve. It must also be relevant, aligned with other goals that you have. Your goal also must be time bound, so you must have a time frame. You can't say, I want to lose 20 kgs. By what time? You have not said by end of the month, by end of the year, by what? I want my company to be $1 million company. By when? Time bound. Your goal must be extending. In other words, it must have that flow, it must have that stretch, but it also must be rewarding. In other words, when you have achieved your goal, you must be happy with the achievement that you have here. Abraham Lincoln says, a goal properly set is halfway reached. A goal properly set is halfway reached. And part of the properly setting of that goal is writing it down. As one of the persons on the call just said, you need to write it down. A goal properly set is halfway reached. In fact, when you have set your goal halfway, you can actually feel that, yes, I'm making proper. When you have set proper goals, you start getting the goal energy forcing you into action. So yes, that's true. Now, Brian Tracy says there are top strategies for reaching goals. Number 1 is write your goals down. Write your goals down. It's interesting to see that a lot of people know that writing goals down is a good thing, but a lot of people don't do it. So it's just about, maybe if just from this webinar today, you just decide, you know what, I'm going to write my goals down. That would be enough. That should be enough as a starting point, because a lot of people attend this webinar and then after this, either they were actually busy doing other things and not writing their goals, or they say, I'm going to write my goals, and they never say, I'm going to write my goals today or this weekend. They just say, I'll write them. 1 year down the line, nothing has been written, nothing has been achieved. So very important to write your goals down if you want to achieve your goals. So for me, it's simple. I have an Excel, Microsoft Word document on my computer where I write my goals. So at the beginning of each year, and my goals are already in place for that year. This is what I want to achieve for this year. I might make changes as and when the year unfolds, but it's already clear. In fact, I set my goals before end of November. My goals for the next year are clear and set. And then write your goals down. Number 1. Number 2, revisit your goals on a daily basis. Revisit your goals on a daily basis. In other words, open that document every day and see what goals did you say you're going to work on. What goals? Okay. For some people, they might say, it's not practical. There's no way that I can look at my goals every day. Looking at your goals every day means you're just spending a maximum 5 minutes just looking at them. Just maximum 5 minutes. Can you fail to spend 5 minutes in a 24-hour day if you really want to? If you're intentional about it? I don't think so. But you need to set specific time. So for me, I'm like, when I get to the office, I open my computer, I look at my goals. Some people get to the office, they read newspapers. Some people get to the office, they read emails. Some people get to the office, they look for friends to chat with. Some people get to the office, they drink tea. For me, the first thing, get to the office, revisit my goals on a daily basis. Now, obviously, it means on Saturday, Sunday, I might do it at some time, depending on the time. But if I've done it 5 days consistently, I will be knowing what my goals are. It's interesting to find that when some people review their goals 1 year later, they don't even know that they had this goal to start off with. Or when you review a goal 2 weeks later, you're like, by the way, I said last week I was going to do this, I forgot. So forgetting goals is real. But if you revisit your goals every day, it means you will either remember, I was committed to do this thing yesterday, I forgot. Or I said I'm going to do this thing this weekend. Today's Thursday, the weekend is near. Today's Friday, I need to do it tomorrow. So I need to set time for me to do it tomorrow. Number 3, stay accountable. Stay accountable. We've already said you have an accountability partner. If you have got someone to celebrate with, or someone to share with your strategies, or someone who can just make you do things, I like this simple accountability partner that I have with my kids to say, I'll buy you pizza over the weekend if you have behaved well when I'm home. And I can never not buy that pizza because they will remind you. And first thing on Saturday, they will wake up and they will tell you, we have even dressed, can we go and buy pizza now? You're like, hey, it's 7 a.m. We can't go buy pizza at 7 a.m. But that's a very good, effective accountability structure. They will hold me accountable until I buy that pizza. If for any reason I can't buy that pizza, you know that my day is just going to be messed up because every minute they see me, they're like, when are you going for pizza? When are you going for pizza? When are you going for pizza? You promised us pizza. You lied to us. What? Yeah. Then you're like, hey, yeah, this thing is getting serious. Let's just go and get this pizza thing over and done with. Stay accountable. So get someone who will have that childlike annoyance to get you to do what you committed to do. If you get those people who can really nag you until you do what you said you're going to do, that's good. So find a nagging accountability partners. You know, the one that you are scared of now, even as you are thinking, if I tell my spouse about this goal, I'll be in trouble. Yes, those ones, go for them. They'll make you reach your goals because they'll hold you accountable. It's also important to develop healthy lifestyle habits. Healthy lifestyle habits. When we're looking at goals, underneath goals, there are plans. Underneath plans, there are habits. So be intentional about which habits you are building to support your goals. Which habits you are building to support your goals. If you have got a goal of saying you want to spend some time reading, you cannot also have a goal that you want to spend some time doing things which are counter reading. So develop healthy goals, lifestyle habits, develop healthy sleeping habits, develop healthy eating habits, develop other healthy lifestyle habits. Now, when you have got healthy habits, your body, which is the tool that you need to achieve all your goals, will be available. Now, you can achieve all your goals, but if you have not taken time to develop healthy habits, it also means that it might be futile. You might achieve everything else, and then you die young and leave them. The last one from Brian is take productivity courses. Now, when he's saying take productivity courses, what it basically means is take courses in the areas of your gaps. Take courses to help you do what you say you want to do. So like now, at the beginning of the year, you might say, you know what, I need to build my skill in finance or in accounting or in legal matters or in marketing or in sales or in designing or whatever it is. Take those courses. Take time to learn about how to manage time. Take time to learn about how to manage stress. Take time to learn about the things that you want to do. So these are the top strategies for reaching goals according to Brian Tracy. I've added some extra strategies. One, align your environment with your goals. Align your environment with your goals. When we say align your environment with your goals, it's basically saying make it easy for you to do the things that you want to do. Make it easy from an environment perspective to do the things that you want to do. If you say you want to study at home, buy a desk. Okay, buy a desk. Don't say I'm going to study on the bed. It doesn't work, has never worked. So make your environment easy from an environmental perspective. If you say, I want to spend less time on social media, remove those apps. Make your environment easy. If you say you want to drink water, 2 liters, 3 liters of water, have water on your desk. Don't cover it. Make sure it's plain. Get those 2 liter or 3 liter water bottles, which have even motivational scripts to say, well done. Now by 10 o'clock, we're supposed to be here. Align your environment with your goals. Also, that alignment of environment means the people that you spend with should be people that are aligned with your goals. Now, add your goals to your daily planner and budget. Add your goals to your daily planner and budget. Now, once you have come up with your goals you will usually involve 2 things. 1, time, 2, budget. 1, time, 2, budget. So if your goal is involving time, you need to make sure that you put it in your daily planner or schedule it. In other words, if I say I'm going to do this from 8 to 10, go to your diary and say from 8 to 10, I'm going to do this. That's what you say. If you're going to your budget, if you are saying I'm going to save 100, 200, 1,000, go to your budget and put it there. My goal is to go to school in this 3 months' time. I need to prepare for it, and this is what I'm doing for it. So put it there, put it in your budget. When you add your goals to your planner and your budget, there's a high chance that you'll be able to achieve that. I hope you are not finding yourself in a situation where you're like, what budget? I don't even have a budget. But if you do, we can help you with that. We can help you with setting and planning your goals. Now, set maximum limits. One of the things that I've said about goals is that goals are addictive by nature. There's this intrinsic satisfaction that you get when you achieve your goals. And at times people mess it up by ending up focusing all their time on one goal. And then you end up with a misbalance in your life. Your life is only focused on one area in your life. All the other areas in your life are suffering. So be intentional. I'm not going to do this thing for more than so much time. I'm only going to do it so much. I'm also not, there are people that will end up saving 100% of their incomes and then they live like paupers. Why? Because they have failed to actually have a maximum limit of saying this is the healthy amount that I need to have for saving. Or they'll spend all their times doing all the productive things that they want to do, but they've not set some time for fun and recreation. And then you end up with people actually having serious problems, serious mental health problems, because they focus everything on the serious stuff. But you need to have a balance. This is time for relaxation. This is time for fun and things like that. Now, celebrate your successes. Celebrate your successes. As you achieve the goals, as you tick each goal, this one and that one, just take time to celebrate. Take time to celebrate. Now, that is moment of pausing, that moment of celebration is very critical moment. So take time to celebrate. Take time to celebrate. So these are the extra strategies that I really wanted to just share with you when it comes to goal setting. When it comes to goal setting. Any questions, comments this far before we look at goal execution? Any questions, comments? Are we still together? Are we still together? Any questions, comments? Okay. Okay, so Camilo says, working over 20 years in a financial company and not happy with the job, is it okay to decide to go for a different job? It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Because at the end of the day, you cannot spend 20 years working in an environment which you're not happy with. Your happiness is important. It's okay, but you need to find ways. How am I going to do this? What is my exit plan and how do I get there? So yes, that's okay. Davia says, I posted my goals on my wardrobe. Great, great. Make it visible. Make it visible. That's one of the principles. Let's make it visible. If you can see your goals every day, you are dressing up, they are there, you are seeing them, that's great. Pray with your goals. Yes, that's also very important. Take time to pray for your goals. Placing reminders on the phone. Yes, I've said I'm going to pray at this time. I'm saying I'm going to take time to read this at this time. Yes, that's good. Check courses in areas of your gaps. Yes, interesting. Yeah, very important. At times we continue with those blind spots for our lives, for all our lives, when we could actually have taken time to focus on them. Great. Other views, other comments? Other views, other comments. Oh, indeed, kids are awesome. I promised my child that I was going to change the car, and he's always asking about when the new car is coming. Yes, that's good. It's getting yourself to pressure, and kids are very good at that. I love it. So I know if you tell the kids, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen. Also, you become very intentional about what you commit. Otherwise, they will accuse you of all sorts of sins that you don't want to be accused of. So yes, thank you so much. So now we want to look at, you have your goals. Now I want to look at the strategy. How do you achieve those goals? We want to look at how do you execute on your strategies? How do you execute on your strategies? That's what we want to look at. I've come up with my goals. Now I need to execute. What is strategy execution? What is strategy execution? It is the discipline of getting the most important things done. It is the discipline of getting the most important things done. I've chosen the word strategy just to reflect the business flair that we said we are going to look at, how to renew your business. But also from an individual perspective, we normally use goal instead of strategy, but we're using the word goal and strategy interchangeably because in business it's more around strategy execution. But that is really about getting the most important things done, getting the most important things done. Jerome says, a strategy, even a great one, doesn't implement itself. A strategy, even a great one, doesn't implement itself. Goals, even great ones, they don't implement themselves. Mark says, vision is nothing without execution. Vision is nothing without execution. Thomas Edison says, vision without execution is delusion. Vision without execution is delusion. So when you have got your dreams, when you have got your goals, if you don't execute on them, you are delusional. He also says, without execution is hallucination. Vision without execution is hallucination. Now, we don't want to spend time coming up with goals and coming up with strategies and not executing on them. As Morris says, without strategy, execution is aimless. Without strategy, execution is aimless because you're executing what if you don't have a strategy? Without execution, strategy is useless. Without execution, strategy is useless. You might know of companies which go for strategy retreats over the weekend in expensive resorts. Then they come back to the office on Monday. It is back to business, back to usual. And then 2 weeks later, the consultant who helped with the strategy brings the document, the nicely bound document, and then it's put on a shelf. And that's it until next year. So without execution, strategy is useless. And a lot of companies actually do that. So how do you actually get to close that execution gap? How do you get to close that execution gap? As Steve Covey says, it's one thing to come up with great strategies and goals, but it's quite another to actually get them done. It's one thing to come up with great strategies and goals, but it's quite another to actually get them done. It's called the execution gap. We know what to do, but we're not doing it. We know what to do, but we're not doing it. So what is execution? Execution is the discipline of getting the most important thing done. It's a discipline. Execution is about discipline. The discipline of getting the most important things done. The number one reasons why leaders fail is not because they are failing to come up with strategies. It's not because they are not smart or they are failing to come up with vision. 70% of strategic failure is due to poor execution. 70% of strategic failure is due to poor execution. We know what to do, we are not executing on it. So that's what we want to look at now. Why is execution so challenging? Why is it difficult for us as individuals and for us as corporates or as leaders? Why is it difficult for us to execute? Now, there are two reasons. One is called work. Work means that we are busy doing the things which are important. We are busy doing things which are urgent. We are busy doing things which need to be done because they act on us. We are busy doing things the way we've always done it. If you get into an organization, the old people will tell you, we don't do things like that here. It's our habit. Or we are busy keeping the engine running today. So in other words, we are busy. The reason number one is we're busy. It's called the whirlwind. We are busy doing work. But when we want to move from doing work to goals, it's a different ballgame. Now, goals by their very nature are important, but they are not urgent. So in other words, there's a high probability that we'll continue to focus on the things which are urgent if we don't create time for things which are not urgent, which are goals. And when it comes to goals, you need to act on it. It's you taking the action on the goals. Goals are about building capacity for the future. We've already said, when it comes to goals, we're asking yourselves, what are the things that we need to achieve? What are the things that we need to achieve? But the main issue, the main challenge with goals is they require change. They require change. In other words, if you have said to yourself and say, I want to renew my mind, I want to renew my life, I want to renew my business, that word renew is about change. It requires change. But you know what? People don't like change, including us as leaders. We don't like change. But goals require change. The second thing is for us to understand that this thing which needs to be changed is called behavior. Behavior change. Behavior change. Now, we can start right at the top. We have said, what is our mission as a company or an individual? What is your vision? What is your strategy or your... When it comes to behavior change, that's where there's a problem. So our strategies basically fall into three areas. One is the stroke of the pen strategies or stroke of the pen decisions. These are executive decisions that you just sign off. You don't need people to change their behavior. So for example, you can decide that, from now on, we are going to buy a car for the business. It's a stroke of the pen decision. It's not a behavior change. You just sign off and buy the car. That's it, stroke of a pen. Or, we need to increase salaries. You just sign. Oh, we need to open a new premise. You just sign. The rent is a stroke of the pen. So these are the decisions, executive decisions, which you just sign off. When we are looking at the strategy, we also need to understand that there is the whirlwind or there is the daily things that we are doing. So our strategy comes in the context of the whirlwind, comes in the context of the business. So when we are bringing in the behavior change, we are bringing it in a place where people are busy. People are genuinely busy. They have no time for new things. People are genuinely busy. They don't want to be distracted from doing the things that they are used to doing. But behavior change is critical. Behavior change is critical. When we look at behavior change, we are saying it's a war. It's a war. And then we need to get into that war zone and understand, for us to execute, we need to change behavior. And it's hard to change behavior unless we are intentional about changing behavior. John Maxwell says, you will never change your life until you change something you do daily. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. So what we are saying is you need to be intentional about what are the things that I'm going to change in my daily routine. What are the things that I'm going to change in my daily routine? Forget about this end of the month, end of the year, 365 days, 30 days. It's about what you do every day. If you're going to renew your mind, you need to renew your mind based on what you are doing every day. So there are 4 reasons why people fail to achieve their goals. 1, when people don't know the goal. When people don't know the goal. In other words, you don't know what you don't know, so you cannot achieve it. Like we said, if you are on a road and you don't know where you are going, any destination, you'll be lost because you don't know the goal. Or at times, people don't know what to do to achieve the goal. Now, we've done goal setting. We've said, this is the goal that I want to do. I want to achieve $1 million profit for my company, or I want to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. That's the goal, but I don't know what to do to achieve it. The third is when you don't keep score. When you don't keep score. So you don't have a tracker of how you are doing. How am I doing against competition? How am I doing against my previous record? How am I doing against some other? And then the fourth is accountability. Accountability. People fail to achieve their goals when they are not held accountable. We've already mentioned the importance of accountability. So 4 things that we need to understand. 1, you don't know the goal. 2, you don't know what to do to achieve the goal. 3, you don't keep score. And 4, you are not held accountable. So we're going to look at this, looking at them as disciplines. We've already said execution is about discipline. So the first discipline in execution is focus on the widely important goal. Focus on the widely important goal. In other words, don't run around after 100 goals that you want. Just choose, this is the one goal that I want to have, because the enemy of the great is the good. So instead of having 100 goals, just say, what is the most important goals? Because highly effective individuals or businesses are totally clear about their widely important goals. Highly effective individuals and businesses are totally clear about their widely important goals. What is your widely important goal? What is your widely important goal? So the output that you are looking at really is you want to be able to have narrowly focused, well-crafted goals. Now, these are the 8 areas in my wheel of life. I want to have 1 or 2 clear, narrowly focused goals. Focus on the widely important goal. So, what is a widely important goal? Well, let's start off by saying, what is an important goal? An important goal is a goal with significant consequences and value. Now, there are a lot of important goals that we have to deal with. But there is this thing which is called a widely important goal, or is called a WIG. Okay, or big, hairy, audacious goal. In business, you'll have learned about that. So what is a widely important goal? It's a goal that makes all the difference. Failure to achieve this goal renders any other achievement inconsequential. So for example, in a business setup, the profitability of the company is the widely important goal. So in other words, if we do everything well, and we are making losses, it's not important. You will never get a bonus when you have done well in all the other areas and the company is making losses. It's not that you are not working on important goals, but that's not the most important goal. You can say, oh, our top line grew by this percentage, we retained all our customers, we did this. But if your profitability is 0, you are not getting anything. So it's about really saying, what is the most important thing that I can do? So when it comes to setting goals in all the 8 areas of your life, you need to say, is this the widely important goal? Is this the most important goal? For example, when we look at goals that people set in their relationship, marriage goals, a lot of people, when you say, okay, what is your goal for your marriage? They'll give you answers, almost 90%. I will take my spouse out for dinner once a month or once a week. And I always ask, is taking your spouse for dinner the widely important goal? Can your marriage be retained because you took your spouse out for dinner? So if your marriage was on the brink, can it be because you failed to take him or her for dinner? In other words, if you put things in that context and say, what is the most important thing that I can do? So if, for example, it's a marriage, if you want to say, what is the most important thing to do? You can find that you are what? For all you know, your spouse doesn't even like being taken for dinner. Or that's not the most important thing. So if you say to them, you know what is the most important thing that I can do in this marriage? The most important thing. And listen and do it. Simple. So when you put your goals there, for you to know that this is the most important goal, is like, I've asked my wife or I've asked my husband, what's the most important thing that I can do in this marriage, which I'm not doing well? Is this? Do it. Put that as a goal. Track it. Have her or him as your accountability partner. And then that's it. So very important for us to understand this concept of widely important. If we say, what is your health goal? And someone says their health goal is something which is trivial, doesn't make any difference in the long run for their health. So if you have got a health goal and your health goal is really, I need to sleep 8 hours, is that the most important health goal that you can have? Widely important goals. So how do you structure that SMART goal? It must be a measure which tells you when you have achieved your goal. So in other words, you should say from X to Y by Z, or from X to Y by Z. So my widely important goal is to increase profitability for the company from 100 to 150 by the financial year end. to increase profitability from 100 to 150 by the financial year end. As you can see, there's the performance gap. So if you say, I want to increase profit from 50 to 150, we're already asking, is this a reality question? Is this reasonable? Can you move from 100 to, or from 50 to 150? And then you can, yeah, I believe it. Good if you believe it. Or maybe I don't even believe it. So if you don't believe it, don't say from 50 to 150. Maybe for this year, say from 50 to 75. Okay. And so how do you have a good goal? Your goal must be written. So it must begin with a verb. It must begin with a verb. A verb, like we said, it's a doing word. A verb is a doing word. So to increase profitability, that's a doing word. To reduce my weight, that's a doing word. To run, to save, to keep it simple. Now, your goal should not be complicated. Your goal should not say how you are going to do it. This should just tell us in very simple terms, I'm going to do this from this to this. Okay. To be a home for dinner every night, because that's what my wife thinks is what is important in our marriage, to be home for dinner every night. That's it. I don't need to say by finishing work at this time, by making sure that I beat traffic, by doing this. No. To be home for dinner every night at 6 p.m. Keep it simple. Okay, don't complicate, don't explain why, and then focus on the what. What is it that you want to do? And have that number so that we know it's actually measurable. So if it's a company weak or widely important goal for a company, like I've given, it could be an example, to achieve a profit after tax of $100,000 or whatever currency by 31st of December 2024, if that's the end of a financial year. So that's a widely important goal. It's clear. You can all know, have we achieved it or not? We can even talk to all our staff every day and say, you know what, this is what we are going for. So the whole company, all your colleagues, employees, everyone knows this is the number that we are chasing for this year. That's discipline number one. Discipline number two is to act on the critical few. These critical few are called lead measures because 80% of the results come from 20% of the activities. It's called the Pareto principle. It says not everything has equal value. We are not aiming to be 100% in everything. We're just saying we want to make sure that we are at least 80% successful in the whole area of our lives. We have achieved 80% success in the whole areas of our lives. If we can do more, that's fine. So it's about acting on the critical few. And what we really want to do is want to say, what are the few critical activities that will best predict that will achieve our widely important goals? So what are the two things that I need to do for me to be able to deliver on these goals? What are the two things or three things that I need to do for me to be able to deliver on this? Because highly effective individuals and businesses invest their energies in few activities that have got the highest impact on their widely important goals. Highly effective individuals or businesses invest their energies in few activities that have got the highest impact on their goals. As James Clear says, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So the lead measures is about supporting our goal. Say, this is my goal. What are the 2-3 things that I need to do to achieve this goal? The most important 2 or 3 things that I need to do to achieve this widely important goal. So focus on those systems. So it's asking yourself, what are the few behaviors that will give the highest change? What are the few behaviors that will give the highest change? It's about asking these critical questions. What could we do that we have never done before as a company, as a business? What could we do that we have never done before? What strengths we have which we can use to leverage on our widely important goals? What have we identified as our strengths when we're doing our SWOT analysis as a company? What did you say these are our strengths? So what strength can we use as a leverage on our widely important goals? Or what do the best performers do differently? So if we look at the best of the best, what are they doing which we are not doing? Can we start having that behavior change and doing those things? What weaknesses might keep us from achieving the win? So is there any weakness that might make us fail to achieve our widely important goal? Should we focus on that weakness? This is our weakness, and this is how we are going to counter that weakness. So what does that look like? What could we do more consistently? At times, we know the things that we need to do. We can do them, but we simply don't do them. Can we have a mechanism of doing things consistently? So, for example, there's a simple principle of ask. Okay, ask. We have seen fast food shops, they do that, your Nando's, your Chicken Inn, your Pizza Hut, your pizza shops. The thing of just asking you a simple question to say, can we give you any extras? Okay. What extras can we do? Do you want extra chips? Do you want extra cheese? Do you want extra topping? Do you want... We know that when we do those things, we get the results. But can we do them consistently for our particular business? What are these things that we know that they work, but we just are bad at doing them? Can we do those things consistently? So it's about acting on the critical few. So you look at your goal, like we've said, your goal is from X to Y by Z, or X to Y by when. And then you'll say, what are the critical few things that I need to do to be able to achieve that goal? The 80-20 rules that lead to that achievement. So for example, if your goal is to lose weight, you can say, I want to lose weight by 31st of December. I want to lose weight from 90 kgs to 80 kgs. Now, that's a clear goal. It has got all the requirements for that goal. This is the goal. And then you're like, what are the things that I need to do for me to lose that weight? 3 things. 1, I need to have something to do with my diet, because diet is important in weight loss. So maybe I will not eat carbs, or I'll eat carbs at this time, or I'll reduce the portion on my plate, or I'll just get a smaller plate, or I will do this. What is it that I'm going to do from a diet perspective? Number 1. Number 2, what am I going to do from an exercise perspective? Now, diet is calories in. What am I going to do to get those calories out? What am I going to do? So this is the exercise that I'm going to do. This is critical. If you want to lose weight, you need to diet. Or not diet as having a diet, but you need to do something about your diet by way of your calories intake. And then 2, you need to do something about your calories out check, which is exercise. And then thirdly, you need a workout partner. We spoke about accountability. If you have got a workout partner, there's a high chance that you'll be successful in your weight loss than if you don't. Because you need someone to push you on the days when you don't feel like, and for you to push them on the days when they don't feel like, and to celebrate your successes, and to have someone to cheer you on and experience with and learn with and grow with. So this is an example of the critical few, to say, if your goal is already there to lose your weight, you can say these are the 3 things. As you can see, there are certain things that help us lose weight which are not there, okay, including sleep, which might help, but it's not a critical thing. There are other things which we can do which are not critical. So once you have managed these 3, and then you go and say, for diet, for me, I like sweets, I like chocolates, I like what? If I stop those, okay. For exercise, for me, I want to do something which is a sport. I want to do something together with other people. So I want to play basketball, because for me, that's what it resonates with me. In my workout partner, I'll choose someone who stays in the neighborhood, who we can play together, as opposed to choosing a workout partner of someone who I only see once a month and things like that. So that becomes very important. From a company perspective, you can have these lead measures. For example, we know that a company, the lifeblood of a company is sales. The lifeblood of a company is sales. So whatever business you are in, sales is critical. Otherwise, your company is not going anywhere. So if you are forward-looking from a company perspective, you are looking at sales. How do we grow sales? Because if we want to grow as a business, we need to grow sales. So you could have, for example, the 2 critical things that you need to do in any business is to visit customers. If you are going to do sales, you need to visit customers or prospective customers. That's a widely important thing that you need to do. I need to visit customers. So you can say 6 customer visits per week or per month, or depending on the kind of product that you are selling. And then you can say, it's not just about visiting the customers, it's about the quotations that we generate. So maybe generate 5 quotations per week. So this is just an example for this particular company. Your company might be different. There might be other things. You might say, I want to measure customer visits. I want to measure clicks on your website or whatever it is. So what are the indicators? So if we are going to achieve the 100 million or $100,000 or whatever currency it is that you want to achieve as your profit, the things that you need to focus on is sales, usually. And these are and in sales, you want to make sure that you have got those constant customer engagements. This is the behavior change to actually have those customer engagements. So that's discipline number 2. Focus on your lead measures. The 3rd discipline is to keep a compelling scoreboard. Why? Because people play differently when they are keeping score. So we want everyone to know whether you are winning or losing. You want yourself to know whether you are winning or losing by keeping a compelling scoreboard. as we said. Highly effective individuals and teams know at every moment if they are winning. So we need to know that how are we tracking against this $100,000 that we said we want to achieve? How are we tracking? How are we tracking against these customer visits that we said we want to do? If we've said every week we want to have 6 customer visits and we want to have the 5 quotations per day, how are we tracking? So we want to keep a tracker. We want to keep a tracker. So what we need to have a team accountability scoreboard. We need to be able to check and see what's the point? Why are we doing this? Because you are not really serious unless you are keeping score. You are not really serious unless you are keeping score. You will have seen people that are playing games. You see children, if they are playing football on the road, and if they've not put some goalposts or some stones to serve as goalposts, the level of engagement is low. But if you are keeping score, then it shows that you are serious. And people disengage when, one, they don't know the score. So you can imagine you go to watch a Premier League match and the scoreboard is down. We don't know who is winning. So when people don't know the score, they disengage. Or when people can't affect the score, they disengage. In other words, you are just there, you are as a spectator. If you can't do anything about that, you're not going to be bothered. So we really want to look at what are the things that we can do so that people know the score and so that people can affect the score. So how do you do that? You build a team scoreboard. You build a team scoreboard. When we are talking about a team scoreboard, this is not a scoreboard for the leader. This is not a scoreboard for the driver. Now, as a driver, your dashboard looks something like this, and you know there are so many things. But passengers don't need to know what's on your dashboard. Passengers just need to see 10 kilometers to the next city, 5 kilometers to the next city, 20 kilometers to the next city. Those are the simple scoreboards for the passengers so they know where they are going. So this one is not a leader scoreboard. In other words, you're not showing them the detailed financial metrics. You're not showing the balance sheet, the P&L, the cash flow, all the complicated things for the accounts and leadership. You are showing them something which is simple and they can understand at their level. So it needs to be simple. It also needs to be visual. So as you can see, this one is simple. We just want to make sure that we beat the goat. That is the intention. If you can see, the second table is already showing us that, hey, you know what, this goat is higher than us, the goat is doing better than us. So it's basically showing us that we are losing. So you must make it visual. So we need to see it. Dalvia says, I put my goals on the wardrobe. That's making it visual so that you can see how you're doing. It must tell you immediately if you are winning or losing. It must tell you immediately if you are winning or losing. So there are 3 reg status that are normally used to show winning or losing. So if it's amber, like the first one, it means that you are almost on target, you are doing okay. If it's green, then you know you are doing well and you're having a smile. If it's red, it means you know that you are losing. So you can use this reg status or these colors to which people understand, and generally your team can also get to understand that when it's green, we are doing well. When it's amber, we are on target. When it's red, we are doing better. So you have to create a player scoreboard. A better still, get the players themselves to create a scoreboard to measure how they are doing against the widely important goal and how they are doing against the league measures. The criteria is it must be simple. It must be visual to the players. So they are circulating to an email, or you are putting it in the notice boards, or you are putting it where people can actually see it in the canteen. You are putting it near the water cooler. You are putting it where people can actually see it. And then it must tell you immediately if you are winning or losing. As you can see on the top one, we can see it's green. It means we are losing. We are winning. On the bottom one, we can see it's red. It means we are losing. Even without any additional statistics, at a glance, we can see. Within 5 seconds, we can see. It must also focus on the lead measure, which is the 2 things that we are doing to push the leg measure or to push the widely important goal. So this is what they will look like. For example, this is a sales scoreboard, lead measures. It shows the number of quotations. As you can see, the color is green. So at a glance, we can tell that we are winning. So as a team or as a business, you can tell that, oh, you are winning. We are on track on this one. On the second one, production tonnage, it means that we are losing because it's red. Even before you see that we're at 4 against a target of 5, you can already see that we are losing. So it's important for us to actually have this at individual level, because what we're looking at here was at company level, but at individual level, you also need to have a goal tracker like this. That's why I was giving examples of what I do on the computer, and you can update it. So you can see this person's has 2 goals, health and personal growth. On their health goal, their goal is to reduce weight from 92 kgs to 80 kgs by 31st of December last year. And we can see as at the end of January, they moved from 92 to 91, they're doing well. End of February, they moved from 91 to 90, they're doing well. So you can see this person is on track. As at the end of February, it looked like they were on track to actually achieve what their goal was. The leg measure, or what you see at the end of the period. Now, their lead measure, they said there are two things that they're going to do. One was to work out for 30 minutes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 to 6:30. And they are tracking. On the 3rd of January, it was done. On the 5th of January, it was done. On the 7th of January, it was done. So they looked at two things for them to say, okay, maybe I don't have a problem with my diet, but these are the two things that I think I need to work on. One, let me have a workout. And then two, let me run 20 kilometers every Sunday from 5 to 8. And then they're having a tracker there which shows week one or first week on 9 January it was not done because they were yet to buy shoes. Maybe the next week they can tell us, oh, bought shoes and now started. And then they can also be tracking, say, week one, I ran 10 or I ran 15, now 20. By the time we come to the end of the year, because of that snowball effect, they are likely to end up saying, oh, I ran 35 kilometers or 40 kilometers because they are now building that habit. The same on their second goal, which was a personal growth goal. The goal was to attain an HR diploma by the 31st of November. Okay. And what are the things that they need to do? They need to save. Okay. So to save $100 monthly towards funding the program in January, done, they saved. In February, they only saved 90 because of an emergency. Maybe you can even write, oh, what was the emergency and things like that. So when you are able to track your goal, this could be a game changer. Being able to track your goal takes your goal to another level. Having it written is good. Tracking it, now you can feel the motivation. You can feel that you are doing well. So if you look at this person, as they started, they are running, and now their belief system is increased because they can see, I said 1 kg per month is achievable. I believe I can do it. Okay. And in the first month, yes, I've actually done that 1 kg. In the second month, yes, I've done the second kg. In the third month, they are likely to do 1.1 kgs because now they are getting that momentum. They are getting that belief, which is making them believe it's doable. They might say they want to work out for 30 minutes, but you will find in week 2, 3, now to be 35 minutes. Now they start enjoying it. Now it's going to be 1 hour. That's why I said now you need to be careful. You might be late for it because you're enjoying your workouts. So you now say, okay, this is a hard stop. I cannot exceed this time. Maybe 20 kilometers, they end up doing more. Now they get excited. They want to run in marathons and they want to do comrades. They want to follow all the marathons in the world. It started here. So that goal tracking is very, very important. The last discipline is creating a cadence of accountability or creating a rhythm of accountability. Highly effective teams regularly and frequently account to each other for their commitments. Highly effective teams regularly and frequently account to each other for their commitments. So this is about really accountability, and we want to have schedules or want to have time slots where you actually sit and discuss what are the 3 most important things that I can do this week to improve the scoreboard? What are the 3 most important things you can do this week to improve the scoreboard? Steve Covey says, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. So these are the things that are priorities for me in line with my goals. I need to put them in my schedule. I need to put them in my diary. Go to your goals, move the things from the goals and put them in your diary. Now there's power. Dalvia spoke about, you can now even put reminders. Once it's on your diary, you can have a reminder 30 minutes before, 1 hour before. You can have all the other tools that can help you track. Move it there. Tony says, if you talk about it, it's a dream. If you envision it, it's possible. But if you schedule it, it's real. If you talk about it, it's a dream. If you envision it, it's possible. But if you schedule it, it's real. So what should you have? You should have that accountability time when we sit and discuss how are we doing on our strategy. On a weekly basis, have that accountability meeting time. And together with that accountability meeting time, agree on actions to close the gap. So if you are trailing behind, what are the extra things that we need to do for us to cover the gap? What are the extra things that we need to do to cover the gap? Bob Proctor says, accountability is the glue that ties commitment to results. Accountability is the glue that ties commitment to results. Ken says feedback is the breakfast of champions. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. So in those accountability sessions, you can give each other feedback. You can find out what's happening before things show in the leg numbers, before things show later on. You can pick things when they're fresh and you can give feedback. You can help each other. You can correct, you can coach, you can mentor. You can really help people when they're stuck. So the key principles of execution are: 1, focus. Focus on the wildly important. 2, leverage. Act on the critical few things. Don't be a busybody doing 100 things and doing them in a mediocre way. 3, engage. Keep a compelling scoreboard. When people know the score, their engagement levels will increase. And finally, create a culture of accountability. Create a culture of accountability. So if you're going to execute on your goals, if you're going to execute on your strategies, if you're going to renew your life, you renew your business, you need to focus. You need to leverage, you need to engage, you also need accountability. In conclusion, to learn and not to do is really not to learn. To learn and not to do is really not to learn. To know and not to do is really not to know. So the secret to success is not about good luck or good luck socks. It's not about being born with a silver spoon. It's really 6% is good luck. 6% is good luck. That's what statistics show. And it's really 24% could be because of your talent. John Maxwell says, he wrote a book which says talent is not enough. There are so many people who are talented and who are not successful. So talent is not enough. So what is the main contributor towards success? Is building good habits. Building good habits, having good lead measures at 48%, supporting your goals, supporting your vision, supporting your mission. So it's really all about building good habits and breaking bad habits. Maybe you are saying, you know what, BUSANI, thank you so much for this session. I've heard what you've said, but I'm stuck. I need help. I need help beyond this. I like what I've heard and I want to do more. You can save the dates of our coaching. You can participate in our coaching sessions. We have got on Saturday next week around this time, 9 o'clock to 10:30 Central Africa time. We've got a free introductory session where we're going to be looking at how to embed these things, how to make these things happen, how to go through a coaching session, and then we can take you through that coaching session. So if you are interested in that, there are numbers showing on the screen there. You can get the numbers. There's an email address there which is showing them. You can get the email and then you can save the date. You can save the date. When you do that, we'll be able to reach out and then we'll be able to have this free session where you can learn and you can decide whether you want to commit on it. Peter Drucker says, unless commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but no plans. Unless commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but no plans. So if you want to go beyond plans and hopes, if you want to really get to commitment, we'll be more than ready to help you take it to the next level. Thank you so much. It has been an absolute honor and privilege for me to be given this platform to share. And I'm ready to take any questions, comments, thoughts. Any questions, comments, thoughts? We'll just start off checking on the ones which are here. Indeed, execution makes the difference in achieving our goals. Thank you so much for talking about execution. You are welcome. Great, thank you. Any questions, comments? It was a marvelous session. Thank you very much. Thank you. Other questions, comments? Questions, comments? All right, thank you so much. It was great, and thank you so much to the leadership for the fellowship for this opportunity. I really appreciate, and looking forward to joining you on future sessions. You should do requests. Thank you, and God bless. Thank you so much. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, BUSANI. Was indeed very, very profitable and very promising section. We've got your details, and They are right in the screen right now. So whosoever wants to take to the next level, I believe will be appropriate to get in touch with BUSANI. So I understand that there are no questions because of time. Let's run quickly towards the end of our meeting. I'm gonna call our general secretary, Salvador Salama, to speak a little bit more about our fellowship. Salvador, back to you. Salvador, are you good to go? In in a nutshell, Full Gospel Businessman Fellowship, it is indeed a fellowship that started in United States of America in 1952 by or through a gentleman named Demos Shakarayan. He was an Armenian that moved to US to pursue the American dream. He was a very wealthy man, but he had a burden. He had a burden on his heart that was related to the fact that many business people in the US were not believers, were not born again. They didn't have a relationship with our Lord Jesus Christ. They didn't know God. So he started the fellowship with the aim to bring back men to God, to make a way, to pave a way, so men could be reconciled, could make this the decision of coming to God and giving surrendering their lives to God. So that was the umbrella, that was the contest that the fellowship started. Uh, we are full gospel because we believe truly that the word of God is the truth, is profound, is born out of God. The word of God has come to us through God, through the Holy Spirit. And we believe in the Bible from the book of Genesis up to Revelation. And we are business people because although the pastors and the leaders in churches are welcome to be part of our fellowship, we are made of ordinary people. We are made of we said Mr. Busani is an expert in insurance. In our midst, there are engineers, there are economists like my case, there are business people, there are lawyers, and so on and so forth. So we believe in God and we meet not as a church. This is a very important caveat. We are not a church. We meet as ordinary people, as Christians, as people that want to share what God is doing, the good things that God is doing in our lives. So we are not a church. We are business people and the ordinary people. We are a fellowship because we love to gather together. We love to have meetings like this one that we are running. We like to share and spend time together. We like to have meeting. We actually do meet at VIP Hotel Maputo. No, toward at the end of every last Friday, then the last Friday of the month, we meet physically, and I don't think you will regret and in joining us. The meetings are awesome. We talk about everything from the topic we just had that has to do with changing mindset. We talk about health. We talk about wealth, we talk about marriages, we talk about many things. We are international because if you pledge to be part of us, you pledge to be member of the fellowship. You have got free access to whatever gathering of this fellowship across the globe. Right now, we are in more than 160 countries. So if you are a member of Full Gospel Businessman Fellowship and you are part of VIP chapter in Maputo, you are also entitled to partake and attend and attain everything else that is being conducted and run across the globe. And I've said about our mission. Our mission is to help men reconcile with God through paving a way for meetings such this one. We want to help men be baptized with Holy Spirit. We want to teach men so that they cannot fulfill their destiny and attain their potential. The ladies of the fellowship have got also part to play. They help beautifying our meetings, in particular those that are physical meetings. They are the prayer warriors of the fellowship, and they are the supporters. So in a nutshell, this is us. At the end of the meeting, you'll see in your screen a number in which you can dial and call and ask more questions about the membership and about everything else that is going on right now. Thank you. Now I will call Mr. Mark Mashinya, our VP, to take us to the next course. Mr. Mark?
Thank you, Mr. Ishmael. Thank you so much for this time. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start off by saluting our speaker of today, Mr. BUSANI NGWENYA, for such a wonderfully loaded session. At the beginning of his address, he mentioned that there are certain things that happen in our lives leading to deterioration and depreciation. And at the top of the reasons, he said one of them could be not having God at the center of our lives. And he gave us, biblical examples of people who had God at the center of their lives and who achieved so much. And that sort of reminded me of the benefits of salvation, of what the Lord Jesus Christ has done for us. Now, if we read from the book of Psalm 103, I just want to read 2 verses there. Verse 2 says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits." And verse 5 says, "Who satisfies your mouth with good things, so that your youth is renewed like that of an eagle." And, as I listened to Mr. BUSANI, I realized that there is a catalyst for renewal in our lives. And that catalyst is the Lord Jesus Christ. But that we can only tap into the benefit of being renewed by accepting him into our lives as our personal Savior. So this morning, I would like to invite you, if you are in this meeting, it's not by coincidence that you've been led to this meeting. But if you are living without Jesus Christ in your life, I just want to invite you to take the most important step in your life by inviting the Lord Jesus Christ in your life, by accepting him as your personal Savior. If you are there in this meeting and you have not yet come, or maybe for some reason you have walked with the Lord Jesus Christ but have since stopped, that happens. It has happened to me before. The Lord is inviting you to come. I just want you to pray with me this morning. Let's just join in prayer wherever you are as we ask the Lord to come into our lives. Amen. Lord Jesus Christ, forgive me my sins. Wash me with your blood. I believe you died for me. On the third day, you rose again, that I may be justified. Right now, I believe that my sins are forgiven. I am justified by your blood. I'm born again. I'm saved. I'm a child of God. I'm free from the power of sin to serve the living God. Help me, my Lord. Bring renewal into my life. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen. Let's just thank the Lord for what he has done for us, for coming into our lives. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, mighty God, for you are the Lord who renews us in every area of our life. We thank you for your word this morning. We thank you that we can come and call upon your name, my Lord, my God, so that we get renewed, that we get to tap into the benefits of salvation. Help us if he has come to accept you this morning, my Lord. Change us, oh Father, bring renewal into our lives, that the people will see and notice, that we may get a platform to testify of what you have done for us from this day onwards. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.